tell you, or speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Which of all this does not know that the right hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and breath of mankind. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. 4 things I found interesting about Marine Lab were the coral reef snorkeling time, the seagrass snorkeling, and the fish ID class and the rock shake class or lab. So in the rock shake lab, you basically shook a rock with microorganisms which you had to identify, which they were basically saltwater life on the rock, which was really interesting. Some of them were big, some of them were small. And in the coral reef class, you basically learned how to identify which type it is and which is it flexible or not, because some coral reefs are flexible, some coral is flexible. And then the fish identifying class, you get to identify which fish, like if it has like a forked tail or like a compressed body or depression body or torpedo body or the fusion body. And then the coral reef ecology, yeah, I talked about that. So the seagrass ecology, seagrass is the heavily oxygen producer for us, which we need oxygen to breathe. And they mainly live in salt water. They cannot grow in fresh water. So the coral reef ecology is basically describing like what type of coral is there. There's the flexible one. I can't recall the other one, but there are 2 types of corals. The fish identifying class, so there are 3 types of bodies and 3 types of tails. So the first body for fish identification was the fusion, which is more like a torpedo. And then the compression is mainly a fish that is compressed like this, compressed. A depression is like a stingray because it's flat. And then the 3 types of tails are the forked, the forked, furnicate, and lunate. And then the plankton lab, and then they used a net and a bottle to capture plankton at night, because plankton stay on the top at night, and then whenever it becomes day, they go down and they migrate. So every day they go up and down from the surface to like 300 feet down. The rock shake lab, it was actually really cool because you got to see living things coming out of the rock, and you had to pick them up with like a droplet thing, and then that was pretty cool. And then the seagrass, the mangroves, and the snorkeling part. The snorkeling part was actually pretty fun because you had to partner up with a buddy, and you get to basically hang out with a friend, basically. The seagrass was pretty cool because there were a lot of upside down jellyfish there. Basically, they were all over the place. You had to watch out where your fins were going. You couldn't really kick, or you'd kick one, or you basically couldn't have your fin touching the ground. The mangroves were pretty cool because there are 3 different types of species in mangroves. The white, the black, and the red. Those are the species of them. The coral reef and the snorkeling part at the coral reef is actually pretty fun because it was actually pretty nice out there, but the current was pretty bad. But it wasn't too bad. But like the coral reef was amazing. And Marine Lab taught me is that there's a whole new world down there, and we're just discovering the surface of it. Marine Lab taught me about God because this is God's creation that we're learning about, and why not explore more of it? What is something that amused me? Probably the coral reef, snorkeling, and all that. Because after lunch there, you get to go in the lagoon and then swim there for at least an hour before your trip to the coral reef. My favorite moment of the trip was the coral reef. Hands down, the coral reef. It was absolutely stunning there. The way that influenced me for my future was we're just scratching the surface. I mean,